Hey, everybody, it is Jamie from the School of Creative Magic, and today I want to talk to you about the relationship of intention and intuition when it comes to you as an artist and you and your creative magic. Let's go. This weekend in my newsletter, I shared a little bit about how some of us tend to be more intuitive artists and of us tend to be more intentional artists. Intuitive artists are people who really love to pursue the mystery, who love to have lots of spaciousness, who need a lot of freedom in order to express themselves. They like to be in the process, they like to watch it happen, they like to pay attention as it goes and let the work lead. Now, the other thing they do is they can get really shut down if things get too tight and too rigid. If the demands are too harsh, if the consequences are heavy, there's just a way all that energy goes kaput. I am not showing up. I'm not putting myself in that position. It's too uncomfortable. But also sometimes they can feel a little insecure about whether they're actually getting anywhere. They can feel a little bit like they're just playing around, and they worry that they'll never reach a level of achievement that makes them be able to say confidently, I am an artist. And then intentional artists are sort of on the other side of the scale, and they love to do research. They love to make plans. They love to make schedules. They like to plot things out and problem solve. And making plans and doing all that research is half the fun. Now, their challenge can be when they don't have some form of structure, they can feel a little lost. If things get a little loose, that's when their energy dissipates. So, whereas an intuitive, it's like if it gets too tight, their energy shuts down. With an intentional artist, when things get too loose, ugh, they just get globby. Like they're like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know what to do. I feel lost. And then they can start feeling like, oh, there must be something wrong with me. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I must not be a creative, because when it gets into all this intuitive stuff, I just get lost. And one of the things I'm here to say is that we as artists, we as creative souls, as creative spirits, we have access to and need of both of these energies. If we think for a moment of our creative energy a bit like water that wants to flow through us. So it's like ideas want to flow through us, projects want to flow through us, energies want to flow through us. And so we need enough structure to create some momentum for that energy, but not so tight that it shuts it all down. And if you recognize yourself on the intuitive side, you probably need a looser, lighter structure, but still some. And if you find yourself on the intentional side, you might need something a little more tight and focused in order for you to have the best flow of your creative energy. And that flow is a great way for you to know whether you need to dial yourself a little towards the intuitive or dial yourself a little towards the structure. The most important thing I want you to take away from this conversation you and I are having today is that neither of these are wrong. Neither of these are a problem. Neither of these in any way say you are more an artist or that you are less an artist. They are simply descriptions of how you are as an artist. And so exploring that and understanding that, knowing this about me as a creative spirit, how can I create the conditions for that energy to flow through me? How can I create the conditions that will really support and nourish me as an artist and the work that wants to come through? I find a lot of the time when people come to me for support, The primary reason is that somehow in their mind, there is a disconnect between who they are and who they think they have to be in order to be an artist. Often people come thinking, I'm going to change me so that I can be an artist. And really often what we do is sort of go, and do a little erasing of that belief that makes you think that because you are the way you are, you can't be an artist. If the call in you is to create, if the way you understand the world and yourself is through the arts, making it and taking it in, then my friend, I'm here to tell you, you are an artist. And I addressed this a little bit on Instagram last week when I talked about being purpose-built for your art. I'm going to share that with you after I share a bit of what's going on in the School of Creative Magic. I'm also going to share some creative magic strategies that will support both the intuitive and the intentional artist in you. So be sure to check that out at the end. There's some great things coming up here in the School of Creative Magic. It is fall now, and so some of you are diving into your fall studio yearbooks. It's not too late to get yours. Come on over to theschoolofcreativemagic.com and get your studio yearbook today. I've also really been thinking about my new year-long offering next year, which is called the Studio My Year of Creative Magic. And it is like taking your studio yearbook and bringing it to life. It's like moving through all of the creative magical practices that are in that seasonal journal and living them in community and with some guidance and support. And if you sign up for the studio now, like before the end of September, you're going to get a free studio session with me in October. So that means everybody who's signed up by September 30th, is it 30th? Yeah, 30th, gets to come in and we're going to spend 2 hours creating. You'll bring whatever you feel like working on, whether it's painting or poetry or pottery, whatever you want. And you'll set an intention. Then you'll spend some time creating and then we'll celebrate together. It sounds like such a simple thing, and it is such a profound thing to be in community for that time creating. So if you sign up now, you get that plus 2 other bonuses. You'll also get my Awakenings class, which is a 30-day dance program. It is so, I send you a prompt and a song to do a little dance and awaken your creative spirit. And I think that will really prepare you for this beautiful year of creative magic. And you'll also get my vision card workshop. These are my vision cards. They always sit on my desk, and they're like mini dream boards for all the primary focus areas in my life. And often I have them on my desk and I'll go, oh, you know what, this is what I'm focusing on today. And so I'll put that out to remind me and bring my energy there. That is a great segue for the tips I want to share with you. So be sure to come over to theschoolofcreativemagic.com. Join as a member. You will get immediate access to the library. That includes 5 free workshops on creative practices. So that's a beautiful way to get started. And if you feel like the studio and spending a year immersed in creative magic, come on over and join that too. I've got great bonuses going on right now. Okay, I promised to share with you my little clip about what it means to be purpose-built for your art. Let's check that out. Hey there, a concept came up in my class today in devotion, and it had that kind of energy where I thought I would come and share it with you too, just in case it is useful, just in case it has some resonance, or maybe it creates a little bit of increased closeness between you and your art. So let's start out with a question. What if you are purpose-built for your art? Like, what if you are designed exactly as you need to be in order to bring the art that wants to come through you through? What if you are exactly the right temperament? What if you have exactly the right tastes or preferences to be a perfect fit for the work that comes through you. Something happens when we let ourselves trust in this. It creates an ease in our heart and our body. It creates a sense of trust between us and the work. And instead of that disconnect where somehow we're believing like, there's something wrong with me, I can't make what I want to make until I am more, or if only I were less. But what if all of that was just untrue? What if out there was artwork that really wanted to come to life in this world, and what it needs to do that absolutely right is you, exactly as you are today. Take that into your studio this week. Just imagine it to be true and see how it feels. What if you are absolutely purpose-built for the art that wants to come through you? One of the things I want you to take away from that is a little bit of homework. And that is to think about, what are the ways you are purpose-built for your art? I want you to take something, a characteristic of you, something that is just inherently a part of your personality. And if you want to really be stretchy about it, if you want to sort of delve into the shadows and be on the edge a little bit, consider picking something that has been judged by you and by others. So for example, one of the things I find with a lot of creatives is they have been judged or judged themselves for loving lots of things, right? Like real artists are focused. Real artists pick a lane and stick to it, but they love this and that and this and that and this and that again. So pick a characteristic of you. If you're feeling like you want to delve a little deep, be a little edgy in the exploration, something that you or others have judged, and take it to your journal and ask yourself, how does this serve the art that wants to come through me? How does this actually create the ideal environment for the work that I'm meant to create in this world? So that's a question I want to send you away with today. And then lastly, I promised you a few creative magical tips to support that flow and that can serve you, whether you are a very intuitive artist or whether you are an intentional artist. I'm going to offer sort of 3 stages of things, and you can feel into where you want to start, how deep you want to go. The first one creates this big a space, the second one goes like this, and the third one goes like this. So you can choose how wide a channel you want to create for your creative flow. The first one is so simple, and I do this in all my classes, is when you are about to sit down and create, light a candle. Light a candle and just hold in your heart a moment of silence. Take a moment to breathe. And let that lighting a candle just shift the energy. And the more and more you do this, the more and more you will signal your inspiration, your imagination, your muses, I am here. I am here. When I light this candle, what I'm saying to you is, I am here. Flow through me. The next step would be to have a little notebook beside you and just write 1 or 2 little things here. One is, what are you going to work on? And that can be broad or specific. That can be collage, or that can be, I'm going to work on the fine detail in the lower right hand of my painting. Or I am going to refine the ending of my memoir. So I'm going to work on this. And then the second piece would be just to note the time you have to work. These aren't in order. You could do it the other way. I use this all the time. Let's say I'm writing the newsletter and I'll go 9 to 11 newsletter. And so just in my mind, I am again creating a sort of expectation, a kind of gentle framework that's saying, hey, I am ready for the energy that wants to flow through me. I have 2 hours and I want it to flow into the newsletter. So let's see if we can accomplish that together. And if you want to create an even stronger on ramp, something I talked about a couple of weeks ago in my newsletter is create for yourself an artistic mise en place. Now, mise en place is a chefy term. It's something that chefs do in the kitchen of preparing everything so that when they come to cook, they can just cook and everything moves with ease and efficiency. Can you see how that might support some flow? So if you know that tomorrow you're going to be working on some choreography, what do you need to do today to gift your future self with just being able to dive in and do the work? So maybe you confirm that you have the studio from 1 to 3. Maybe you pack what you're going to wear and an option for if the weather changes. Maybe you get your sound equipment together or the music you're going to be using and have a backup so that and everything's in your bag and it's ready to go so that the next day when you're ready to go to work on your choreography, you grab it, you walk out the door and you feel confident, like some kind-hearted, sweet person prepared the road for you. So all of this is about creating conditions for your creative flow, your creative success. And energetically, I'm going to go back. I'm going to take these creative magical steps and just go back to the beginning and say that when we judge ourselves as wrong, imperfect, unsuited, then we're shutting down that flow. Like we're literally saying, I'm not the right channel. Like, no. There are things that we will decide we're not the right channel for. That's our right? Like as we talk to different ideas, we can say, wow, that is a gorgeous idea, but man, that would take way more energy than I have. So thank you for showing up. Please move along. Please find the person who is able to dedicate that amount of time and energy. I'm looking for something a little gentler, a little quieter. And again, then you can start to say, I have the weekend for making. And so what kind of flow can come through into that sized container? So I hope this has introduced some powerful ideas to you. First, that sense of letting yourself understand that you are great the way you are. You are purpose built for the art that wants to come through you. And that letting go of that judgment of thinking you should be some other way is one of the primary ways you can let more creative joy, creative energy, creative work flow through you. And then starting to think about where am I on that intention to intuitive scale? Try to figure out what does your balance look like? Like I love to be 40% intuitive and 60% intentional. I like to be 85% intuitive and 15% intentional. And play with it, experiment, notice it. The next time you're feeling a great sense of creative freedom, creative release, creative expression, creative joy, ask yourself, okay, how open was I to intuition and how much did I support myself in this work with intention? Maybe that'll give you some clues to the right sized recipe for you. And then I'm offering you sort of ways of supporting that creative flow. Just creating the space, letting the energy know that I'm here and I'm ready by lighting a candle. Creating a slightly more defined container by saying, this is how much time I have and this is what I'd like to work on. And then adding that possibility of setting yourself up, giving your future self the most beautiful gift by setting up your mise en place so that when you are ready to step into the realm of creating, everything is ready for you and it feels like a joy. I hope that supports your creative magic. Have a great time in your studio. Remember, your life is your studio. I'll see you soon.